With news today that house prices have risen for the 15th month in a row, home ownership has never felt more out of reach for millions of Aussies and apparently a lot of bees. Enter the Liberal Party, which thinks it's found the silver bullet. Or maybe it's faster than a speeding bullet.
Who will save us from the housing crisis?
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's superannuation.
There are many different components needed to fix the nation's housing crisis, but one piece that can help level the playing field is utilising super.
The opposition's home ownership spokesman, Andrew Bragg, today pushing the coalition's housing crisis-busting policy, allowing first-time home buyers to withdraw their entire superannuation balance for a home deposit.
And so super can fill that role.
Scott Morrison went to the last election with a similar plan, proposing a capped $50,000 withdrawal.
Well, let's hear the recording.
This gives people access to their superannuation to buy a home.
The superannuation industry claimed that plan would force median house prices up by around 70 to 80,000 in major cities. And economists reckon Super for Housing 2.0 may do the same.
I wish you'd tell me how.
You see this sort of thing from time to time. State governments with their first homeowner grants, and sometimes the feds jump in as well. But housing prices go up just as much as that extra money. We've seen this movie before, it's dumb.
And then there's the cost of raiding your nest egg. In 2020, the coalition government allowed withdrawals of up to $20,000 for those affected by the pandemic. A move the Reserve Bank says will cost those individuals about $120,000 in retirement savings and taxpayers $85 billion by 2085.
You're just moving money around. Instead of basically having your money in the share market, you'd have it in the housing market. Trouble is, the making money in housing is how Australia got into this problem in the first place.
So is this policy really the thing that will allow aspiring homeowners to purchase tall buildings in a single bound?
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Well done, Sarah. Opposition housing spokesman Andrew Bragg is with us now. Andrew, every policy, it seems, that we've tried that tries to put more money in the hands of people who want to buy their first home ends up having the overwhelming effect of just increasing house prices. That's the major consequence of this. Why would this be any different?
Well, fundamentally, we need to build more houses, you need more supply, but you also need to allow people to use their own money to buy a house. The key determinant of your success in retirement is not your superannuation balance, it is your home ownership status. So we want to make sure that people can get access to a home by using their own money.
But aren't we putting the cart before the horse here? I mean, isn't the problem that we've got a critical shortage of houses? We need to increase supply.
Yeah.
We need to do that first.
Well, you can do all of the above. I believe that we need to build more houses, which is the supply piece, but you also need to find a way to tilt the scales in favour of first home buyers. That's where super comes in, but that's also where we need to look at the lending laws and the costs of regulation, because if first home buyers can't get a mortgage, they can't get a house.
But isn't the point this doesn't tilt it in their favour? Because what it does is it puts more money in the hands of everyone who's bidding. So the end result is you get a higher bid, and people struggle to be able to buy the house they were after anyway. It just costs them more if they manage to get into the market.
As I say, you need to build more houses. That's a key part of the solution. But all the independent economists that haven't been bought off by a big super would say that allowing people to use their own money would have a small impact on prices. But what it would do for people, for example, in their mid-30s who are a couple, this is probably the sweet spot for the policy. It would allow them to get onto the ladder of home ownership, which is incredibly hard in cities like Melbourne and Sydney. So it's absolutely worth having as part of the debate.
Bought off seems like strong language, but let's talk about the Reserve Bank, who I assume hasn't been bought off. They spoke about those who withdrew $20,000 during COVID when they were allowed to do that for emergency measures. They estimate that they lost about $120,000. So if you withdrew $20,000, you lost $120,000 in retirement savings. With this plan, and I take it you're not a fan of superannuation, but with this plan, wouldn't we see superannuation accounts being drained and then ultimately the government having people who might have bought a house but they have no money and now they're going to be on the pension instead of being self-funded in retirement, and the government's going to have to fund all that?
Well, the idea that superannuation is the only vehicle for retirement is very narrow thinking. I don't think Australians are stupid. I think people can organise their own retirement. For many Australians, the best retirement plan is to actually have a house. What I'm trying to stop is the trajectory where millennials and Gen Zs will never own a house and they'll be locked into having super. But as I say, the key determinant of your financial success in retirement is actually your home ownership status. If you are a retired renter on the pension in retirement, you're going to have a very hard time. And I would rather see us retain the Australian dream. I think that is the most important objective here.
Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a lot. See ya.